Hey guys, so Stranger Things Season 2 finally came out about 2 weeks ago. I finished it in about a couple of days, but I'm just now getting my review up for it, so sorry about the delay. And seeing as there's probably been thousands of videos put up on the internet regarding reviews, spoilers, all sorts of things related to Stranger Things Season 2, I'm not going to delve too deep into my review. I'm going to give you some quick thoughts and then I'll do a quick comparison on how I feel it compares to Season 1. So let's just go ahead and start off with my review and my quick thoughts. So first of all, this show is freaking awesome. Season 2 did not disappoint in any way. Well, a little bit for me, but I'll get to that in a minute. But I feel like it really escalated from what it was on Season 1. Like, Season 1 was amazing. This one does things a little bit differently, but it's in a good way. And it's just freaking awesome. The Duffer Brothers do fantastic. They're awesome storytellers. I really can't wait to see them do even more things beyond Stranger Things in the future. But I'm really looking forward to them doing more stuff. They're fantastic storytellers. Their directing is really good. I love that 80s style. We're only a year after Season 1. So a lot of things have happened for the characters, but for us, not a whole lot's changed really. We're still in the 80s. We're in 84. So things are still very nostalgic, I guess. I was born in 90. So I'm not even an 80s kid, but I love the 80s. And it's just great to see the style and how encompassed you and like really involved you feel in this world. It feels like a real world that you could step into and honestly that you really want to step into. Now, as for the acting, you get a lot of the great things that you got in Season 1. Millie Bobby Brown as 11 does pretty good, as she did in the first season. Finn Wolfhard as Mike does great again. My favorite characters from Season 1 are still my favorite characters in Season 2, which is Dustin and Hopper. Were my two favorite characters in Season 1, but we get some surprising additions in Season 2. Characters that I really grew to like were Bob, played by Sean Astin, which is great that he's being able to be a part of Stranger Things. I mean, he was a Goonie for crying out loud, so it's just great that he's able to be a part of something still in the 80s, but like he's grown and like there's so much more. And I know probably a lot of people didn't like his character, but I actually thought he was kind of funny and nerdy, and I really liked his character a lot. So that was a great addition. And then a character that was actually in Season 1 that I really grew to like a lot and really became the MVP of Season 2 for me personally was Steve Harrington. And this character grew a lot. He does a lot more things in Season 2. He's a lot more involved, especially with the kids, which I think was the biggest highlight for me in Season 1, was the interaction of the kids. So adding Steve to that dynamic and having that older kid, who's actually a cool kid, part of their group, off and on sort of thing, is actually really interesting. And there's actually a great friendship that grows out of that as well. There's a really interesting dynamic, which I would have never seen in Season 1 or probably ever at all had they not started doing it. And that's between Steve and Dustin, which is one of my other favorite characters. So this partnership and friendship really works out, and I'm not going to spoil in how they get working together or anything like that, or what their whole goal is, things like that. But it's a great friendship, and I really hope blossoms and goes further in Season 2. Dustin can really look up to Steve, and Steve can sort of teach Dustin about things. I'm really looking forward to that, so I really hope that they advance that in a future season, Season 3, and beyond that. Now back to everybody's favorite character, which is 11, Millie Bobby Brown's character. I thought she was okay. I was never like a big hype train for 11. Yes, I think she's super cool, but I'm not like a super big hype train for her. In this season, she's a lot more developing things, and there's the controversial episode number 7, which to me it wasn't controversial. It was more just a character study of 11 and really her character by itself away from the whole Stranger Things world. I thought it was a bold move done by the Duffer Brothers. So I have no problem with the episode. It was just like sort of an anomaly and sort of takes you away from the story, the main story, a little bit. But at the same time, I understand how it's kind of necessary because other than that, Eleven's just been this little girl who's been in the Upside Down and then stuck in a lab for most of her life. And that's just can only go so far. So that episode 7 was kind of necessary to develop 11 into where she's going towards the end of the season as well as into future seasons. So I can understand how they sort of needed that episode to be in that whole span of like, I think there's 9 episodes in total. Overall, I would have to say my biggest complaint for season 2, however, is I feel like we didn't get enough of that dynamic from season 1 of the kids being together. I really liked that that was a big main focus of season 1. I feel like in season 2, the characters are sort of branching off into their own directions, which as you do as you grow up, which is perfectly fine, and that's why I understand the storytelling and what they decided to do with these characters. But I really like that camaraderie in season 1 between Will, Mike, Dustin, and Lucas, and I feel like that was something that was really important. We get some of it in season 2, especially towards the beginning, but I feel like there's parts of the story where it's just Dustin, or it's just Will, or it's just Mike, or just Lucas, and I feel like they didn't really come together that often. Maybe it was something to do with Finn Wolfhard being a part of it. I'm not entirely sure. But I feel like that was one of the bigger downfalls, because that's one of my favorite things about season 1 is how they play off of each other. And when they don't really get to play off of each other, yes, they're developing on their own, but that whole group mentality and that whole we are a team sort of goes and fades away into the background. And I just wish they would have implemented more of that. But that's really my only complaint for season 2. I just feel like it's more of an evolution in season 2 than it was in season 1. And I feel like that for that reason, the overall grade that I'm going to have to give season 2 of Stranger Things is actually going to be the same grade I gave season 1, which is an A+. Now for the real question that's really on everybody's mind, how does it compare to season 1? Well, as I said, season 2 is the evolution of season 1. Season 1, we really get the more introduction stuff. We sort of don't really get to delve too deep into the characters. Season 2, we still get that adventure of these characters dealing with the supernatural dabblings and whatnot. But season 2 really evolves the characters, which I think was really necessary because they could only go so far with supernatural stuff. And it's been a year since the events of season 1. So we really need to develop these characters, see what has happened to them in a year, what they've been going through, just everyday life struggles, and it was necessary. And maybe even in season 3 we'll get more of that supernatural stuff back again, or like sciencey, sci-fi sort of stuff. But season 2 is definitely more of a character development and character study, which again was necessary. Now, if I really had to choose which one I would have to say I liked more, that's going to be a little bit of a tougher story, because I feel like they're two sides, like I said, of the same coin, or in this case, two sides of the same D&D board, reference to season 1. I just feel like season 1 was just that intro, and you have that awe and wonder of this world, and you're trying to figure everything out. Season 2, it develops that. It's more of a sci-fi character development, and there's just other things going on. It's not that one is better than the other. It's just that we're having different stories. We're having evolution. We're having growth. And that's exactly why I had to give the same grade to season 2 as I did to season 1. I don't feel like one is necessarily better than the other. It's just growth, development, which is something that you want from a show that you know and love. So anyway, guys, those are my thoughts on Stranger Things Season 2 and how it compares to Season 1. That's really all I have for now. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. I know, like I said, there's thousands of videos on this, so if you happen to watch this and come across it, thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate that. But that's all I have for now. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.